Good morning. I'm Charles Lejano and this is One News Now. Today is the first day of general community quarantine in Metro Manila and more people are expected to be out on the road as some industries have now been allowed to resume operations. So what exactly does this mean for the riding public and how is this different from ECQ? Sanitary measures will be strictly implemented as some public transportation resumes today. The riding public will be required to wear face masks and cashless or contactless payment schemes will also be implemented. Thermal scanners will be set up in train stations while high-touch surfaces and other facilities in transport terminals will be disinfected. The transport sector resumes the rollout of public transportation in two phases. Phase 1 will cover the period of June 1 to 21 and the implementation of train and bus augmentation systems. Taxis, TNVs, shuttle services, point-to-point buses, and bicycles will also be allowed to operate with limited passenger capacity. Tricycles are also allowed, subject to the approval of the LGUs. Meanwhile, under Phase 2, which will run from June 22 to 30, public utility buses, modern PUVs, and UV Express will be allowed to operate, again with limited passenger capacity. To follow health protocols, the 1-meter social distance rule will be strictly enforced in all PUVs and mass transport units. Both the MRT and LRT are now back in operation. Let's check out what the situation is like on the ground with JC Cosico, reporting live from Pasay City. JC, kamusta naman yung linya dyan?
Yes, Charles, it's the first day of GCQ in Metro Manila and as expected, long lines welcome commuters here at the MRT Taft Avenue station in Pasay City. Station personnel say some commuters are to arrive here at the station as early as 4:30 in the morning. Take note, the first trip is at 5:30 in the morning. People are expected to flock at the Metro's commuter trains as more businesses have resumed operations under eased quarantine restrictions. Plus, buses and jeepneys are not allowed under GCQ. The train's capacity, however, is limited per trip. Under the old normal, one train set carries over 1,000 people. But now, just 13% of that, or 153 passengers, are being let in. 20 trains, including 3 Dalian trains, are said to be operational and will be disinfected at the last stations. In addition, commuters who are required to wear face masks will have to undergo the regular inspection and thermal checking. Footpaths are provided at the entry and exit points. Signages and markers are also placed leading to the ticket booths and waiting platforms. The MRT3 management says train speed in certain stations is now at 40 kilometers per hour from the previous 30 kph pre-ECQ. What this means for commuters is that waiting time has been reduced from the average 9 minutes to just 6 minutes. Given the limited operations, some passengers had to wait for more than 40 minutes before they were able to ride the train. We talked to some of them and here's what they have to say on this new normal.
Hindi ba ito hassle para sa inyo?
Medyo po, pero kakayanin na lang po. Kasi ako, no choice. Lagi pong long sleeve para no touch. Tapos lagi po, pag may nahawakan, alcohol and sanitizer. Tapos po, vitamins every umalis ng bahay. And then po, kapag nag-duty po, naka-hand gloves naman po kami.
Medyo naguguluhan din ako. I'm not sure kung mag-stop sila sa Ayala. Yun. Kasi nakalagay naman, draft point nila is north pa eh. So, hanggang Ayala lang ako, baka naman.
Charles, the MRT3 management has deployed around 90 buses to augment the limited train trips with a flat fare of 25 pesos. Now, these buses have for pick-up and drop-off points. These are at the Taft Avenue Station, Ayala Station, Quezon Avenue Station, and North Avenue Station. Charles?
Right, JC, I'm just curious, paano yung configuration ng mga tao sa loob ng terminal? Are there physical barriers or kanya-kanyang pwesto lang ba basta malayo sa isa't isa?
Charles, sa mismong terminal, may mga nakalagay dito ng mga yellow markers. So doon aapak yung mga pasahero para nga ma-maintain yung physical distancing. Now, pagpasok naman doon sa mismong tren, may mga marka rin doon kung saan pwedeng tumayo yung mga pasahero at yung mga bawal naman nilang upuan ay may mga nakaharang o may mga nakapatong na plastic. Charles.
Alright, JC, kamusta naman yung pila dyan? Sa dami ng tao, are they able to maintain physical distancing?
Charles, ngayon ay medyo pakonti-konti na lamang yung mga pumipila dito nga sa MRT Taft Avenue sa Pasay City. Pero nga kanina umaga nga ay napakahaba ng pila dito at meron naman mga gwardiya na sinasabihan sila na i-maintain nga yung physical distancing. Charles?
All right, thanks for that, JC. Once again, that was JC Cosico reporting live from Pasay. And along with the MRT and LRT, authorities are allowing transport network vehicles to operate under the GCQ. Let's check out Grab's plans for the GCQ as we have on the line Grab Philippines President, Mr. Brian Koo. Good morning, Brian. Could you tell us exactly what services are available? Meron na bang Grab Taxi, Grab Car, and how many units do you currently have on the road right now?
Hi, Charles. Thanks for asking. So, if you turn on the app now, you'd see a couple of services available under transport, namely Grab Taxi and Grab Car. No? With the taxi service, there's, I believe, around 2,000 units available, and then with the Grab Car service, also a similar number. But we are currently ongoing. We have currently trainings ongoing and disinfectant and safety barrier distribution for the remaining 16,000 other TNBS operators that were allowed by the LTFRB to begin operation.
All right, Brian, so what health measures do you have in place to ensure Grab's compliance with the existing health protocols?
So we have a program called Grab Protect, which includes behavioral safety tips for drivers and passengers when they take a ride. And in addition to that, we've also subsidized disinfection kits that we're giving out to all these approved drivers, and a safety barrier that they can install in their vehicle to ensure that there's that protection between the driver and the passenger.
All right, how about payments? Are you sticking to strictly digital payments, or will you also be allowing cash payments?
Yeah, so according to the MC of the LTFRB, where for transport network vehicles and taxis, only cashless payments will be allowed. So if you look at the option for payments under the Grab app, you'll only be able to pay using the cashless methods, either Grab Pay or credit card. So this is in adherence to the MC of the LTFRB and to ensure that the COVID virus is not transferred through the use of cash.
All right, Brian, let's talk about fares for a minute. I understand that this was a bit of a touchy issue even before the lockdown started, before the community quarantine started. What are you looking at now? Are you looking at the same fares, and are you looking at surge pricing as well?
Well, a couple of things, no. So the fare matrix of TNBS is comprised of the regular fare of the per kilometer and per minute charges, and then the surge pricing. So nothing has changed with the per kilometer and per minute pricing. So we're still following the same fare matrix that the LTFRB has set forth last year. And for surge, we're voluntarily decreasing surge to 1.5 to be able to help the public get back to its feet and ensure that fares don't go up. Given that the supply-demand situation, we're not seeing it to normalize anytime soon. So that's why we're making that voluntary adjustment.
All right, that's some good news for our motorists today. Do you have anything else to tell commuters who are looking to book Grab for today, the first day of ECQ?
Yeah, so we've been shut down for 3 months now. So if people are booking Grab and expecting it to be normal conditions like pre-lockdown, it's going to be difficult to expect those conditions, given that we're going to restart the whole engine this week. No? But we do expect things to start normalizing towards the end of this week and later next week, given that the LTFRB is still reviewing some of the names that we've submitted. So we submitted a total of 31,000 TNBS operator names for them to activate. They've activated around 18,000 of these 31,000. So we're looking to get supply back up as demand starts coming in. And we'll know more towards the end of the week, but we're closely monitoring the supply-demand situation, making adjustments as we go along. But safety will always be the number one priority. So our partners will not be able to go online until they've picked up their disinfection kits and installed the safety barriers and gone through the Grab safety training.
All right, best of luck to you guys today. Thank you, Brian Koo. That was the Grab Philippines president himself, Mr. Brian Koo. Starting today, quarantine passes will no longer be required for those leaving their homes. The DILG says queue passes are no longer necessary unless LGUs require it in high-risk barangays called critical zones. This as the government eases movement restrictions to slowly restart the economy. But curfew hours and cross-border travel limitations remain in place. Those who need to cross provinces should still secure travel passes, except if traveling for work. Those pursuing work-related matters in another region or province need to present their company ID or documents justifying their reason for travel. Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya says the PNP will still set up checkpoints across Metro Manila, but will impose stricter control on regional and provincial borders. Up next, it's the first day of the general community quarantine for Metro Manila, and you're watching live footage from EDSA. This one over North EDSA. Good morning, this is Charles Lejano and you're watching One News Now. A lot of passengers are stranded in some part of the metro on the first day of GCQ after failing to catch rides to get to train stations along EDSA. Heavy traffic is also being experienced on parts of the major thoroughfare. To give us the latest updates, we have on the line Gerard de la Peña reporting live from EDSA North Avenue in Quezon City. GDP, how are things there?
Well, Charles, motorists have been experiencing traffic jams in certain parts of EDSA after authorities blocked 2 lanes which they will dedicate to buses. Well, over at on EDSA northbound, vehicles slowed down from Estrella in Guadalupe up to Ortigas, and again from Santolan flyover to Kamuning flyover. On the southbound lane, traffic is moderate to heavy from Quezon Avenue down to Santolan. The MMDA and the DOTR have put up barriers to mark the 2 innermost lanes exclusive for buses. Authorities, however, won't be implementing their plan to use the MRT stations as drop-off and pick-up points for bus passengers just yet. They say they're still tweaking this. Officials said they have so far allocated 33 million pesos to the MMDA for the construction of such stations as well as bike lanes along EDSA. Adding to the traffic jam is the fact that private vehicles try to avoid the yellow lanes or the 2 outermost lanes of EDSA, which were exclusive for buses before the quarantine. The MMDA advises motorists that they may use the yellow lanes except the ones at North Avenue and Quezon Avenue, Ayala Avenue and Taft Avenue. The reason for this is that these portions of EDSA is where the DOTR's bus augmentation program for MRT3 will drop off and pick up passengers. But what's interesting here is that while there are almost no takers for the bus augmentation, as there are more than enough trains for the very few passengers who made it to EDSA. However, there are many stranded passengers in other parts of the metro who have no ride going to these stations. The DOTR said there are taxis and TNVS who can serve the needs of such passengers. They also explained that they are for gradual resumption of various modes of public transport in order to prevent crowding and the spread of COVID-19. Charles, transport network company Auto is giving free rides to passengers from their homes going to MRT stations, as there are not enough public transport that will ferry them from secondary roads going to main roads. Well, the MMDA also said that traffic is likely to be like this for the rest of the day. Charles.
All right, Gerard, for the information of private motorists, may coding ba today?
Charles, coding is lifted at least for this week, as the MMDA has yet to have this published in major broadsheets. So most likely coding will be imposed again next week or the next. Charles.
All right, Gerard, you mentioned that not many people are actually making use of the bus augmentation. Libre ba yun? And if not, magkano lang?
Well, Charles, itong bus augmentation is not really free. Passengers have to pay a flat rate of 25 pesos per ride. Charles.
All right, thanks for that. Once again, that was Gerard de la Peña reporting live from Quezon City. The number of overseas Filipino workers stranded in various parts of the world has swelled to nearly 100,000. This is according to the Labor Department. Citing reports from the Philippine Overseas Labor Offices in 40 foreign posts, the DOLE Command Center in Manila recorded a total of more than 98,000 stranded OFWs as of May 29. These workers are either affected by lockdowns in their respective host countries, or those whose work contracts have expired but cannot return to the Philippines due to the absence of flights. According to the DOLE, the majority of the stranded OFWs are in the Middle East, followed by those in Europe and Americas and in Asian countries. Meanwhile, COVID-19 cases in the Philippines continue to rise. Infections surpassed the 18,000 mark a day before the NCR was placed under GCQ. On Sunday, the Health Department reported 862 more cases, 16 of which were classified as fresh cases or test results that were released within the last 3 days, while 846 were late cases or results that were released within the last 4 days or more. The case bulletin also shows that another 7 patients have died, bringing the country's death toll to 957. Further, the DOH said 101 more patients recovered from the SARS-like disease, raising the total number of recoveries to nearly 4,000. Right, let's now take a look at the global situation with this COVID-19 pandemic via this interactive map from Johns Hopkins University. Again, these numbers were gathered from 5 databases. That's the World Health Organization, the US CDC, the European CDC, China's National Health Commission, and the online community of physicians, DXY. As you can see on our dashboard over here, the total number of confirmed cases at 1,789,368. As of 7:30 this morning. As you can see over here, the United States still records the highest number of cases with 1 million. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Total number of confirmed cases for the U.S. is 1,789,368. This comes as mass demonstrations continue across the South American nation after the death of George Floyd at the hands of the police. As you can see here, you may want to turn your attention from the map if you're not fond of these red dots, as it's all over the U.S. As you can see here, the U.S.'s case count is thrice the tally of Brazil, Russia, the United Kingdom, the country with the Brazil with the second number of cases with over 500,000. Confirmed cases also in Russia are 405,843, 276,000 for the United Kingdom, and over 239,000 for Spain and 232,000 for Italy. The global death toll, meanwhile, has reached over 370,000. Here we go. Over 370,000, with the U.S. still getting the lion's share with more than 100,000 100,000 deaths. Despite this, Donald Trump appears to be dead set to sever ties with the World Health Organization, citing the health organization's inadequate response, particularly as regards China. Meanwhile, the Finance Department has secured nearly $5 billion in foreign loans to boost the government's COVID-19 response. $4.5 billion in budgetary support came from the ADB and World Bank loans, as well as the government's issuance of US dollar-denominated bonds last month. On top of that, the World Bank accelerated its disbursement of $200 million in additional financing for its social welfare development and reform projects within the country. The government likewise signed another $100 million project loan with a lender for its COVID emergency response project. Finally, the DOF raised an additional $8 million in grant financing from the ADB for 2 projects implemented by the DOH and other agencies dealing with the pandemic. These financing packages amount to a grand total of $4.85 billion borrowed as of May 14. For more updates, you can follow News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.